What is up, guys? My name is Matt from Magic the Greatening, and today I got a really cool budget deck tech for you. It's going to cost you around $60, sideboard and mainboard together, and it's going to be Grixis Scarab. Alright, so a while ago, maybe like a week or two ago, I made a blue-black Scarab God control deck, and that deck is super sweet. The only problem is it's upwards of $200. So for those people that don't have that money, this is the deck for you. And actually, yeah, it runs one more color. It runs the red, but it actually costs 4 times cheaper. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to be playing 4 copies of Dynavolt Tower, 3 copies of Metallurgic Summonings, and 1 copy of the Scarab God. Dynavolt Tower, we're playing a whole bunch of energy stuff like Glimmer, Harness Lightning. We're actually playing some Live Fast in here. Also, we're playing a whole bunch of stuff that synergizes with not only energy, but having artifacts out. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. But Dynavolt Tower is a very good card. Repeatable removal. Something, you know, we're only playing a few draw spells. So Dynavolt Tower is just super strong. And then Metallurgic Summonings. The 3 of super powerful enchantment. If you could drop this on turn 5, yeah, they get a free turn 5. But we are a control deck. We can bounce back. We play some sweepers. We play a lot of removal. We play a lot of counters. We play draw spells. We play everything. So dropping a Metallurgic Summonings and having it resolved is probably our best win condition. And then, of course, the 1 copy of the Scarab God. Now, this card costs like $14 to $15-ish per copy right now, so I only wanted to play the 1. Also, we're not playing things like torrential gearhulk. I would probably up the Scarab God to 2 copies if we could play a playset of torrential gearhulk, but we are a budget deck, which is really hard to do with a 3-color control deck. But anyway, the 1 copy of the Scarab God, you know, we're a control deck. We grind it out. You'll eventually hit it, and it's super sweet. You start stealing some of your opponent's stuff that you killed. Unfortunately, we don't have any other creatures. Literally, we have 1 creature in the deck. It's the Scarab God, so definitely going to have to worry about that. We can't reanimate our own stuff. And if your opponent's not playing any creatures or stuff like that, then you want to sideboard it out. But anyway, those are like our end game plans. Let's move to our spells. Let's talk about the 2-mana non-creature spells. Start just at the bottom of the curve and move up. And this is all relatively cheap spells. But anyway, we're playing 3 copies of Essence Scatter, 4 copies of Harness Lightning, and 3 copies of Negate. We're playing a total of 9 counter spells in the deck. This, like, Essence Scatter and Negate are 6 of them. I just found that since we're playing, I didn't want to play things like Cancel or even Disallow, even if I had the budget for it, because it's double blue. And that's really taxing on our land base. Now, I know Metallurgic Summoning's double blue, and we actually are playing a card that's double black, but as of right now, it just feels better to play hard counter spells that only have 1 in them, or 1 blue in them, and they cost really cheap. So the 3 of each of those, and then Harness Lightning. We're playing Dynavolt Tower. Harness Lightning goes hand in hand in that. Spoiler alert, we're also playing a playset of Glimmer, but we'll get to that here in a few seconds. Pretty standard control stuff. Let's move higher up in the curve. Alright, let's talk about the 3-mana stuff. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Live Fast, 3 copies of Supreme Will, and 4 copies of Unlicensed Disintegration. Yeah, we're playing some Live Fast. Probably you guys are like, whoa, control deck's worst nightmare is aggro. Live Fast is the last card you want to see when you're playing aggro. But if you're not playing aggro, this card's super sweet. And our sideboard is really geared up against aggro since that's control's biggest problem. So you can just sideboard it out and then just bring in our, aggro package, I guess, for our sideboard. But for 3 mana, you get to draw 2 cards and get 2 energy, which is super sweet if it Dynavolt Tower out. Yeah, the lose 2 life sucks against aggro, but that's why we're only having the 2 copies. 2 copies in the main board, none in the sideboard. But I felt like we need a little bit more draw spells, and Live Fast kind of fit in. Supreme Will, also a draw spell, but it's mostly in here for more counter spells. Most of the time, there's a lot of gods running around, planeswalkers, and since we're a budget deck, we're not playing things like Never to Return, anything like that, or we're not splashing white for cast out or anything like that. We do need to play a little bit more counters. I know people don't like counter spells, but, you know, we're a control deck. Try to stay budget. Supreme Will, why not the most budget counter spell, is super powerful. Got to play at least the 3 copies. And then Unlicensed Disintegration is probably the best removal piece in the entire deck, even more so than Harness Lightning, because it's hard removal, and it deals 3 damage to them, which can be super, super important. We have things like Dynavolt Tower, which can trigger this. Metallurgic Summonings also triggers this, because Metallurgic Summoning says when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get the construct. So you get the construct token, then Unlicensed Disintegration. So you cast Unlicensed Disintegration. Metallurgic Summonings trigger goes off. You get the 3/3 construct token. Then Unlicensed Disintegration fully resolves, and since you have that construct token that's an artifact out, it'll deal 3 damage to him. So either with our Dynavolt Tower or Metallurgic Summonings, this thing gets turned on. And even if it's not, it's just a 3 mana instant speed hard removal spell that doesn't rotate out. So, like, why not play that? And yeah, so those are our 3 mana stuff. Let's move to our 4 mana stuff. Alright, these are the last 2 non-creature spells in the deck, and we're going to be playing 4 copies of Glimmer Genius and 3 copies of Yahenni's Expertise. Already told you about Glimmer. No doubter, no brainer. You know, we're playing energy. We need to draw cards. This can help search for answers, stuff like that. And then Yahenni's Expertise is our, like, Sweltering Suns and Hour of Devastation, but a lot cheaper and only about $1 per card. Still super sweet. I mean, we literally get to play most of our other stuff off of this. You can play like a Harness Lightning to kill something that's outside of Yahenni's Expertise range. You can cast a Live Fast off of this. So you're playing against like a token strategy or a go wide strategy. You clear your board, you play Live Fast for free, you draw some cards, you gain some energy, and clear the board. Just super sweet potential. That's also another reason I ran Live Fast, because it goes well with Yahenni's Expertise. But anyway, Yahenni's Expertise is the poor man's sweeper. I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's really good for what we want to do. We play a lot of hard removal. Harness Lightning for us, since we are playing a playset of Dynavolt Tower, will be super effective for us. Unlicensed is hard removal. Just a whole bunch of ways for us to get rid of the big things, and we need that sweeper. Yahenni's Expertise fits perfectly in here for us. Let's talk about the lands. Now, I am playing lands that are rotating out. You can play, like, the tap lands that are dual lands or whatever, or if you have like the Spire Bluff Canals or the Canyon Sloughs or the the Fetid Pools, if you have those, or if Ixalan's already out and they've got the cool dual lands after you've seen this video, or while you're watching this video and Ixalan's out, go ahead, throw those lands in there if you want to. But I am playing some Shadows over Innistrad lands here, mostly because they're super cheap right now and helps us mana fix. So we're playing 4 Choked Estuary, 4 Foreboding Ruins, 4 Highland Lakes, 5 Mountain, 5 Plain, or 5 Mountain, 5 Island, and 4 Swamp, excuse me. Highland Lake is the, obviously the only other 2 blue-red dual lands in Standard right now are Wandering Fumarole, which rotates out and is super expensive, and Spire Bluff Canal, which doesn't rotate out, but is really, really expensive, like $30 to $40 for a playset of that thing. So definitely not worth it. We can afford to have 4 of our lands not come into play untapped. So since we're also trying to be budget, and that's $13 just between Choked Estuary and Foreboding Ruins for both playsets. That's a pretty good deal. I know it rotates out, and I get it, but we do need the untapped dual lands in this deck because we're playing 3 colors. I try to keep the spells to not tax our mana base so much. I told you, the only thing that's double, the double blue and Metallurgic Summonings, which is 5 mana, which we should be able to get 2 blue by then, and then the 3 Yahenni's Expertise, which is 2 black, should be able to get double black by then. I know we're playing less swamps and islands and mountains, but outside of that, we are pretty much fine, and the sideboard's the same story. So, speaking of the sideboard, let's talk about it. So the big question is, what is an answer to Ramen Up Red, or Red Deck Wins, or whatever you want to call it, aggro? It was pretty There was a lot of evidence showing that control did terrible against this red deck. And what is my answer to it? Well, I have a spell for you here. It's a junk rare. It gains its life. And it can kill Hazoret, the god. It can kill Hazoret, the god. What spell can this be? It's not an instant speed. It's not perfect, but what spell is this? And it's Battle at the Bridge. 4 copies of this in our sideboard. This is perfect against mono red. Can kill literally anything they put out. Now, however, it's at sorcery speed. Hazoret has haste. I get it, but it is technically an answer. You could play things like Hour of Glory or something like that. That's just as cheap, but this can kill things early in the game and gain us life, which is so important. You're playing against aggro, you kick out Live Fast, you kick out Scarab God. Scarab God's not going to help us against aggro. You might even kick out metallurgic summonings, and you definitely bring in all 4 Battle at the Bridge. This thing is so key against aggro. We need as many low mana, hard removal spells as we can, and this is actually not hard removal, but it is super sweet to gain this life, to be able to kill a Hazoret. Just so good. Also, the sideboard, 2 Dispossess against like God Pharaoh's Gift decks. 1 more Essence Scatter, mostly against aggro. You can take out maybe like a Negate or something like that. 2 Hieroglyphic Illumination. If you're playing like a mid-range deck or a deck that does a lot of damage to you, you can take out the Live Fasts and replace them with Hieroglyphic Illumination. 4 Magma Spray against, again, aggro. 1 more Negate and 1 more Supreme Will, mostly against control. So that was our sideboard, but I told you, we're playing a lot of cards against this aggro deck. 4 Battle at the Bridge, 4 Magma Spray. Just put those in. You should do fine against aggro, especially Battle at the Bridge. The card is definitely really good, and it's really cheap as well. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead, leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you are new. Click in the top right eye icon. Vote for next video's Deck Tech 4 videos for you up there. And hopefully I will see you in that next video. Peace.